All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really mind-bending, the idea of deconstructing the self. This all comes from a direct pointing by Loon, from a talk he gave on April 13th, 2025, called The Summation of Practice. And really, it gets right to the heart of one of our biggest assumptions. Who or what are we really?
So let's just jump right in with this question. Are you a noun or a verb? I mean, think about it. We almost always think of ourselves as a thing, right? A solid person, a noun. But what if that's not the whole story? What if you is actually more like a process, an ongoing action, a verb?
Okay, so here's the core idea. That feeling of being you, the one that feels so solid and constant. This teaching says it's not a single entity at all. Instead, it's what's called a compounded happening. It's like a whole bunch of mental and bodily activities all happening at once. And that combination creates this feeling we call me.
So I know what you're thinking. That's a pretty abstract idea, right? How are we supposed to wrap our heads around that? Well, luckily, the teaching gives us a couple of really great analogies to help us see through this illusion of being just one single thing.
First up, this quote. Strictly speaking, there is no music. There's still a combination of sound. Okay, let's break that down with the orchestra analogy. Imagine you're at a concert. You close your eyes. What do you hear? You'd say, I hear music, right?
But what is music, really? Is it one thing? No, of course not. Music is just the label, the concept our mind slaps onto the experience. The reality is the hundreds of individual sounds, the violins, the cellos, the drums, all combining together. The sounds are real. Music is the idea we create from them.
And this is the perfect metaphor for the self. Just like with the music, that feeling of you is a concept. It's an illusion that pops up when all these separate mental and physical processes happen together. See, the point is, you're not a thing that has thoughts and feelings. You are the thinking, you are the feeling. You are the processes themselves.
Okay, so let's take this a step further. If I am just this big bundle of processes, then what about that feeling of being the doer? The sense that there's a me inside my head who's in charge, doing all the thinking and feeling.
Well, let's look at another really simple analogy from the talk. Think about how people used to understand the wind way back in the day. It was totally natural to think there was someone or something making it happen, right? Like a god or a spirit who was literally blowing. But now, of course, we know better. There isn't a doer separate from the doing. The wind is the blowing. The function is the action. There's no little guy inside the wind pushing it along. The blowing itself is the whole show.
And this is the exact same shift in perspective we're talking about with our own minds. Everything we experience, knowing, thinking, feeling, even being confused, they're not personal actions coming from you. They're just impersonal functions happening. And here's the kicker. Even that persistent feeling of you is described as just another one of those functions.
Okay, so if everything is just this constant storm of shifting processes, is there anything stable in there? Is anything constant? Well, according to this teaching, yes. Amidst all these functions coming and going, there's one that's described as always being there, kind of like the background for everything else.
And to explain this, the talk brings up this really cool metaphor of musical chairs. It's a great image, right? In the chaotic game of our inner experience, all these thoughts and feelings are scrambling around, competing for our attention for a seat.
So think about it like this. When the music stops, maybe pain grabs the chair. It becomes the main event. A little later, calmness might get the seat. These experiences come and go. But what about the chair itself? The teaching says the chair is knowing. It's the capacity to be aware of the pain or of the calmness. That knowing is always there, no matter who or what is sitting on it at any given moment. It's the one constant.
All right, this is all very interesting, philosophically speaking. But what's the point? What's the practical takeaway? How does seeing things this way actually change anything in our day-to-day lives?
Well, it's all about a huge shift in how you look at things. See, our default setting, our normal view, is to see the forest, that big, solid idea of me. The practice, the work, is to start learning to notice the individual trees, all the specific, separate functions that are happening from one moment to the next. And this quote nails it. You learn to observe the trees rather than the forest. The forest is an illusion of the trees. It's so simple, right? When you stand way back, you see a forest. But if you walk right up to it, there's no forest to be found. There are just trees,
Lots and lots of individual trees. The forest is just what we call the whole collection.
Now, it's really, really important to get this next part. This is not about trying to destroy the self or get rid of it. That's not the goal at all. That feeling of you is going to keep showing up. The aim is just to see it clearly for what it actually is, a collection of processes, a temporary combination. And according to the source, when you can really see that reality, well, that's the path to peace.
So we're going to leave you with a question. This is a question the speaker, Loon, got from his own teacher, and it's incredibly powerful. What is the mind knowing at this moment? See what that does? It's a simple, direct question that pulls your attention away from what you're experiencing and points you right back to that constant underlying function of knowing itself. It takes this whole explainer from being just a bunch of ideas and turns it into a living, immediate investigation for you to try right now.